start again, Divya?
No problem.
We are ready now.
You're good to go, Divya? Are we good to go?
We're good to go.
Okay. Hi, Priya. Welcome once again to the Say Cheese platform. And it's really lovely to have you with us today. Uh, for those who don't know Priya, Priya is, amongst the most charismatic leaders, that I've come across. And, let me also formally take the opportunity of introducing her to you. A qualified chartered accountant from the Institute of Chartered Accountants of India with over 20 years of diversified experience in banking and financial services. Priya is a committed and result focused leader with end to end experience across strategy building, budgeting, performance analytics, expense management, financial accounting and reporting, process simplification, and MI automation. That's the professional introduction. On a personal front, she's a proud daughter, sister, wife, and mother. She's also a Sevika who is extremely passionate about ensuring the right culture and values are ingrained in the future generation to which her children belong. A mother of two and a very charismatic leader from an MNC bank. We welcome you, Priya, and thanks so much for making it today.
Thank you, Rajpreet. The pleasure is all mine to be here and to kind of be in the presence of all of these great women, folks we have either live now or eventually whoever would be seeing this YouTube. Really a pleasure mine to be here completely.
So, Priya, very interesting topic. Uh, Dare, dream, believe, and achieve. DDBA. I think so. A new mantra we've heard. So, you achieved a lot, Priya. So, how? So, did you really dream of it, or did it just, come your way?
So let me just talk a bit about the topic, right? Because typically you would have people who come to you for these kind of sessions have a topic in mind, and they would be like, okay, you speak about this, and I found it very no, new and very unique that when you approached me, and I'm sure when you approached other women as well, you guys left the topic of discussion for the speaker to choose. And I knew that it was a Women's Day special thing, and I didn't want to focus too much on just career aspects, because I think it's very important for women to feel complete in all aspects, professionally, personally, and even as an individual. Forget about play what multiple roles we play, right? So that's when when I read your WhatsApp sort of forward that you had sent me, the message that you had sent me. I was just trying to think what could be those magical words, right, to kind of just sync up everything and make it work for all. So I think that's where I thought about dare, dream, believe, and achieve, because for me it is important to have all of these aspects to then finally feel that as a woman, as an individual, you are in a position to do whatever you want to, as long as you have the daring, you believe in your dreams, you believe in your efforts, and you strive to achieve all of those kind of things. And, to answer your question, whether I have gotten all that I've dreamt of, all that I have wished of. Actually, no, I don't think everything that we plan happens. And sometimes, what we get out of, situations are something that was completely unplanned, and therefore, to that extent, something that you're not prepared for. But I think in the long run, it turns out to be the best thing that would have happened to you. So yes, not everything is planned and not everything goes as per plan. But the important thing is to have a plan and to stick by it. Slowly or steadily, things will come your way. So that's what I would say to your question, Rajpreet.
Okay, lovely, Priya. So, more on the topic and the philosophy, that you believe in on Dare, Dream, Believe, and Achieve. Would love to hear about your personal experience and how did you really imbibe it in your life?
Yeah, so it was not a day one mantra for sure. And in fact, it probably will be a transformation that happened personally, from a career perspective, at least for me, over the last maybe 5 to 7 years, not beyond that. So, as you start young, you're just in that, phase of, okay, you want to do this, you want to do that, but there's no clarity. In fact, I wanted, when I was pretty young, I wanted to be a doctor. That was like my dream. And that was the thing that I think I felt would make my dad the proudest. And I was a daddy's girl all along, like literally. So from, wanting to become a doctor to finally at the last minute making a choice that, maybe no, it's not something that I can, I don't think I had it in me to, see blood and see the pain, the suffering of others so directly, literally on a day-to-day basis. So that's when on the last day, I decided to change course. I took up commerce and then, CA happened and all that kind of stuff happened. So yes, the dream that I had was not something as a path that I chose. But eventually, the path that I chose, I did have the courage, the boldness to kind of, embrace whatever was the best option in that path and to keep, striding my way ahead in that course. Now, from a believer perspective, right? I think, and I would want to focus a little bit here. I think a lot of women, rather all of us, have been ingrained with a lot of courage, a lot of bravery. We are born brave, right? Because we know that end of the day we have to go through the pain of, reproducing another a mortal soul, getting another mortal soul into this world. So I think women are all super women from right from birth. And there is nothing that they cannot achieve if they put the mind to it. But I feel the two things that end up, pulling us back is self-doubt, very, very big sort of a, hurdle or bottleneck that I see in a lot of women that I have, come across in my life, and guilt. Okay, we end up being doubting ourselves. We always feel we are not ready for the next level, whatever it is, personally, professionally, and we keep pulling ourselves back. And the guilt with regards to, if I do this, what will happen to my family? How will I manage kids? How will I manage this? How will I manage that? So I think from a believe in yourself perspective, you've got to be very, very clear about, what your goals are, and do not doubt yourself. There will always be a learning that will come naturally to you while you are, progressing on any path. Like, when we become mothers, nobody trains us to become mothers, right? It's a journey that we all individually have our own personal experiences. So even from a professional standpoint, I think we all need to be always ready to take that leap of faith, and faith in ourselves. So I think just make sure that every time you have this self-doubt in your mind or you feel guilty, you've got to, just snap out of that zone totally, like immediately, and just think of something else. Or don't make any decisions when you're in that phase of self-doubt, or on a guilt trip. Do not make any important decisions in your life when you guys are that, because those are real roadblocks for you to achieve your dreams eventually. So, from a philosophy perspective, it's not something that it happened overnight. It's been a lot of, self-introspection, a lot of, things that I've learned from women leaders around me. I've always been fortunate to have worked with a lot of male leaders who have definitely been, fair in most aspects, not all aspects. There will always be, those ifs and buts and gray areas. But also a lot of women leaders who have looked upon and have taken the good elements or good things, from them. Rajpreet is a very dear colleague of mine, and there are multiple times when, I have even considered her, the way she is a gold medalist, and gold medalist as recent as like 3 years back, I think, She did that course and she got it. So that the passion that I see in Rajpreet is something as well that inspires me. So it's been a journey, and I think it's always evolving. You've got to just keep that self belief, keep self doubt completely out of your minds. And this mantra is therefore then very easy to kind of go for. And be your own ambassadors. Have a sort of a tagline for you when you are representing an organization, or when you are connecting with your own people. So I have a special signature that I put in all my official emails. So that's
Yeah,
another,
no
branding, your
guesses for
personal
that.
branding.
Yeah, I love that one, Priya. So that was actually one of the first impressions of you. So the I
Okay,
care. So
correct.
of course,
You remember that? Oh,
of
okay.
course.
Yeah. So
So
personal
so
branding
for
becomes very
all those
important.
who don't know, yeah, Priya has a tagline of I care, and she goes on to explain the care. So Priya, why don't you go ahead?
Yeah, absolutely. So again, this is not something that I came up with as a thing to have, right? It's a personal branding. So we were, I think, having one of these HR sessions. Most of them turn out to be not so useful and just waste of our time. But this one, I think, had a good takeaway. So I coined this during the session, where CARE stands for, courageous, responsive. Sorry, A stands for assertive, courageous, assertive, responsive, and execution focused. So that's E as execution focused. So it's kind of what probably I stand for, in professional, personal, whichever world it is.
So lovely, Priya. So you spoke about those low moments when you just need to those self-doubting moments, and who can tell that more than an entrepreneur? Especially on this
Yes,
journey, you have lots of those. I can tell you that. So
absolutely.
Priya, I mean, how do you really snap out? Uh, is something any
Hmm.
tips on that, or what really gets you out? Is it a distraction, or is it something else to help you snap out of that situation?
Look, I think one of the important aspects of being able to snap out, from a negative zone is for one to actually be positively motivated, right? And that's all about the attitude. Again, something that is not one size fits all, or easily coming to everybody, because an attitude of a person depends on a lot of aspects, right? Emotional, psychological, experiences around, people around, and all those kind of things. So there's no easy answer to it. But for me, what works is, I am a very spiritual person. So for me, my belief in God is like, rock solid. So for me, anytime I doubt myself, or I feel things are not working the way I wanted to work, I just keep saying that this time is probably a difficult one. There is some God testing me happening. But this shall also pass. So for me, I keep reiterating, this thing that, this time shall also pass, because there's nothing permanent in life, right? It's like the time is, it keeps flowing and with no control that anybody has on it. So you just got to be having that positive thought process that, this time will also pass. And, the time that will come next, the next second, the next minute is what will be better for me. And which is why I think in that point of you being at that very negative zone, or a zone where you do not feel things around you are going right, let's not make any decisions. I kind of try not to talk to people also, because whatever comes out of my mouth at that time is not something that will be great to hear, or not something that I would be proud of at a later moment. So for me, spirituality works, the belief in God works. There could be different anchors for a lot of people. I think just talking about it helps. You've got to have a few people who you can confide with, whatever it is. For me, I've been sort of lucky that my better half is my confidant. I have a good set of good few friends, who I can reach out to when I need to just vent it out. Nowadays, I don't even need to call them. I can just vent it out on WhatsApp chat. You have a private group of your friends. You kind of just write it out, and a little bit of venting and stuff like that, and it works. It works for me. But yes, for everybody, it will be slightly different. But I think you've got to have an anchor, some kind of an anchor. It could be your family, it could be your spouse, it could be your brother, father, mother, your anyone. You got to have an anchor in life to just kind of take you in the right path ahead. Uh, that's what I would say, guys.
Lovely. So reach out to your anchors. In fact, at CHEs also, we offer expert, coaches who are there with you, who walk with you on this journey. So it's like the concept being that every single person has an expert to confide in. We even have a sounding board conversations on this, app. So lovely to hear that. I think there is a
Yeah.
comment from Shivani Tyagi. Self-awareness is foremost thing which is one. Yes,
Yep.
absolutely. Shivani, you want to have a conversation, you can, on your video and speak to Priya, Radhika, Divya.
Thank you so much, Priya. It is really wonderful to listen from you. There are when people speak, then definitely there are a lot of things which is definitely beneficial for us. But somehow in between the line which you said that, when you are getting nervous or when you are getting hyper, then you do not talk to people because you will say some things which you are not proud of. So that thing really caught me. So from
Yeah.
that I realized that if you know about yourself, and that will, like, if you are taking that action towards yourself, then that will help us in our work also and in maintaining our relationships also, because at that time we know that if we will talk to the person, then we will not be proud of, or we will spoil our relations. So I really like that thing, and that's what I mentioned in the comment. So thank you so
Yeah.
much for this.
Yeah. Yeah. Thanks, Shivani.
Thank you, Shivani. I think, for that observation. Yes, Priya, I think that was a very powerful and a very honest confession, I must say that. We
Yeah.
all go through it, and thanks for bringing it forward.
Sure.
Moving on. You've had a very successful corporate career, and I've been witness to it. I've seen you rise and go all the way to the top. So, Priya, do you really believe there is a glass ceiling that exists? And if it does, how did you break it? So, if you could share some of the experiences that you've had.
So, firstly, I think you're being too generous and kind to say that I've achieved so much in my corporate life. I know many more people who've done much, much more than me. But thank you. I take it as a compliment. It's nice to hear. Now, on your question on glass ceiling, yes, there are ceilings, there are doors, and don't expect people will be standing to open it for you, and in fact, you would have more people probably trying to derail your journey, or acting as probably they are your well-wishers, but maybe behind your back doing something else. Right? This is corporate world. It's brutal. It is absolutely brutal. And I was initially when I started off, and like I mentioned, that this belief or this transformation or this these coining of terms, etc. It's not something that I would have done like 20 years back when I just started off my career. It's a very recent thing, and it's from my personal experience, wherein I realized that. And I've seen this with other women who I've worked with, right? Every every women, most women rather, I wouldn't want to generalize it or make it like applies to all. Yes, most women are much more dedicated and hardworking and motivated to work than the male counterparts. But at some point in the life, right? गाड़ी थोड़ा हम लोग पीछे ले लेते हैं. We kind of pause, whereas the guys keep accelerating. We kind of end up pausing, taking a break and doing whatnot. And those breaks are essentials, nothing against them. But what I've realized is even after you go back from the break, you've got to be having an ability to voice yourself, right? So one is, of course, let the work do the talking. And I think for most of us, we would be very, very hardworking, very, very committed in what we're doing. Nothing different for anyone, right? But while your work will talk, whether your work is getting noticed at the right levels, is being picked up or is being appreciated, is being recognized by the right people, is something that you need to be consciously, striving to make sure. So not literally being in the face, but whenever you have opportunities to connect with, your right stakeholders, your right, your bosses, your, colleagues who can make a difference for you from a career standpoint, you've got to tap on those aspects, right? All of us may not be as lucky as, I was recently reading about Indra Nooyi, her biography, and I think she was lucky. She had like a good amount of mentors in her life who just kept anchoring her, and she tagged along. And of course, not just luck, she was very committed, very hardworking, and I think she's gone through a lot of ups and downs in her personal, professional lives as well. But all of us may not have those anchors, those people who will pull us along with them or tag us along with them. And that's where I think we all need to be very focused on making sure that whatever hard work you're putting is recognized. So when you believe that it's a time for you to get a promotion, have that conversation with your line manager. Speak about it. Let your line manager know that you believe that you have done these things and therefore you believe to be getting the next role or getting another, a change in role, whatever it is, right? So glass, you got to be owning up your career. You, all of us have to own our careers. We are the only ones who are responsible for how our career progresses. If we become a bit casual about it, if we, basically say that, okay, let someone around us decide for us, I think then, it's only then only luck can kind of take you there, but not your hard work and what you do. And luck doesn't favor all, right? It's not something that comes easily to everybody. That's why it's called luck. It's rare. So I think for me, what's worked to break the glass doors, glass ceilings, is to be consciously striving, of course, working hard and letting my work do the talk, but at the same time, expressing what I want to do next, giving confidence to my bosses around, to my colleagues around, to my, super bosses around that I am ready for the next, to take the next plunge. I even if I may not be 100% there, I will, get there eventually as I progress. And that is something that I think again self-doubt pulls females back. And this is something that I've heard from, I think, one of the talks that Sheryl Sandberg has given in one of the TED Talks, wherein she says this very categorically. A male or a man would be just 30 or 40% sure that this role is something that, I can do it, and he will apply for it. A woman might be 80% sure that she can do it, but until she hits the 100% confidence in herself, within her, she won't even apply for it. She won't even give it a try. She'll be like, no, yaar, I mean, while I think I can do it, but I think still there is this one small portion that I have no experience in, so I can't do it. Whereas if it's a man, he would be like, यार experience तो मैं कर लूंगा पहले काम तो करने दो मुझको मैं experience अपने आप कर लूंगा let me do hands-on experience. Whereas for women, it's like, नहीं नहीं I want to learn this, I want to do that, only then I can do the job. So don't be in that sort of mental thought process. Sorry, Shivani has asked some question.
Yes,
I can't read
yes,
her question
yes.
fully.
I'll just read that out. Uh, so she's asked, what is that one thing a working woman should have to maintain both professional and personal life?
Ah, okay. It was one of the key messages that I'd coined. So again, this is something that I related to when I heard one of the leaders speaking about it. I think again, not something that we may or may not be able to plan for, but I think the most important thing is to have, if you're married, a supportive spouse. And of course, if you're not married, then a supportive family. Because ultimately, the whole balance between your personal and professional life depends on someone being around when you are busy in your professional space, right? And therefore, there is a direct sort of dependency to ensure that if you have certain dreams, if you have certain goals that you want to achieve, you completely get your better half or your your family or immediate family in sync with those goals. You've got to convince them that this is what you think will make you complete as a woman, both from a professional and personal standpoint. And you've got to get them into confidence and help you support all the way, whatever comes free. So for me, I think having a supportive spouse, having my family, my mother around all my life. I chose to stay in suburbs versus being in say Chembur or Bandra, to reduce my commute. But I chose to stay in Kandivali in a suburban area in Bombay because my mom lives very close by to me. So when I'm at office, I do not have to be worried about my kids. I know they're in safe hands. I know nothing bad or, nobody else can be as good as, she is. She's better than me, in fact, when it comes to my kids. So I think for women especially, you've got to have those confidants who believe in you and who will support you, come what may, you know, totally. I hope that answers Shivani your question, and I hope not a
Yes,
difficult one to have it raised.
definitely. Thank you so much, Priya. And just a follow-up question on your previous statement regarding that self-doubt. So, as you
Mm.
clearly mentioned that when we have that, when men say this, that this job demands a higher responsibility, and even if they do not have that experience, they will just say that I'll get it. You just give me that job, I'll get those hands-on experience.
Yeah.
But when it comes to a women, and definitely I am one of that person, so that's why I want to know from your side. I always think like, oh, no, I cannot take that role right now. Let me learn this, let me learn that, then I will be capable enough to take that role. So which is again, you hit on the hot iron, I would say, for me. So I really want to know from your side how we can remove that self doubt, how we can speak up for ourselves in that manner.
Yeah. So look, one, don't expect you yourself to have all answers, for all things that are happening in life, be it your career, be it your personal life, right? Because there are always things that will happen which you may never be prepared for or which you may not have thought of. But if you believe that that role is the most, most eligible role that you would fit into, and is the most eligible role for your career progression, from your future standpoint, then you have to have a leap of faith. तो सेल्फ डाउट होता है, सबको होता है, right till the time you go for your interviews, while you're preparing for your interviews, you will always be in that. I'm sure, Rajpreet in her entrepreneurial experience would have had so many times when, she would have not got the outcome that she was expecting to have, and much more than in a corporate world, right? Because it's like setting up everything right from scratch. You don't have answers to everything around you. But give yourself that boost, give yourself that positivity, that belief that I am ready, I can do it. There is no powerful statement than I can do it. Trust me, whenever you are in self doubt, just reiterate, no, I can do this, I can do this, I can do this, I can do it, you know and you will see immediately, you will be in a state where you feel very positive and very pumped up. Aapka mentally, you're still at that level. You may only have 30% knowledge about what your new role requires you to do. But the minute you reinforce that belief that I can do it within you, and I'm sure the minute you think about getting that role, it could be a 3 months down the line, it could be a 2 months down the line role. आप मन में prepare कर रहे हो as a woman, but a man is not even doing that. Trust me. They are not even preparing for interviews when they're going applying for these roles. But we are, because we are that much more, how do I put it? That much more
Perfectionist.
conscious. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah. Perfectionist is one, but conscious about our self-image. Ki I
True,
can't
true, true,
fail.
true. Yes,
No,
true.
I
Uh,
actually relate to Priya saying that because I remember Priya telling once many years back, मैं अपनी favorite हूँ. I still remember that. the Jab We Met philosophy. But yeah,
Yeah,
I actually remember that. So, Priya is definitely the one person I believe who doesn't have those limiting thoughts, and that also has resulted in whatever she has achieved. So Priya, it's really been so lovely, listening to you today, and we had questions also, and I think a lot of people will relate to the session. Whoever is listening live also to us, and do feel free to reach out to Priya through us if you have any more
yep.
questions. And uh, Priya, thanks so much and for coming and taking out the time and on the eve of International Women's Day. And we wish all our listeners a very, very happy International Women's Week. And so see you once again, Priya, in future on our platform. We would love to have you. And now you're already on the app. So
Yes.
welcome and thank you for being there. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me. It's been a real pleasure. And this is again one of the limiting things that I always had to, have an audience and speak like this about my story, my achievements, my goals. So it's the first time that I'm doing something like this. And it's obviously giving me a very positive sort of a feeling now that I did it. In fact, till morning, Rajpreet and I were like, should we not, should we not? But we said, yeah, let's see, let's just go ahead and do it. So thanks so much for having me. And I loved the app, Rajpreet. I think I've registered also for a few of the aspects. And one of my free time stuff would be now to get into some of these live rooms that you guys have, and see if I can be of help and I can receive help in return as well.
No, thank you so much, Priya, and really lovely having you. And trust me, this is just the beginning for you. I'm sure you have,
Oh my God.
miles to go, and I wish you all the success and happiness. So lovely,
I wish you the
lovely.
same. I wish you the same. Wish your team the same. It's a great platform that you guys are building, and really hats off to you to actually have done it.
Thank you. Thank you. See you. Bye.
Yeah.
Bye
Lots of
bye.
love.
Take care,
Thank
guys.
you.
Happy IWD. Take care. Bye.
Bye.